Hey Joey, so Nintendo just dropped 2 new trailers kind of out of the blue, covering what would be new things, but they're kind of old at the same time. So, first up we have new games coming to the NES and Super NES NSO apps, being Caveman Ninja, otherwise known as Joe and Mac. Heck yes, love Joe and Mac, that's awesome. Magical Drop 2, which is a pretty cool looking puzzle game where you grab and throw things. Super Baseball Simulator 1.000, I think. Spanky's Quest, which, hey, you blow bubbles as a monkey and shoot them up, and that, hey, I'm all about blowing monkey, or blowing, whoa. Blowing bubbles as a monkey.
What have you done?
I don't know. This is going off the rails. The Ninja Jaja Mario-kun, I think. But, for as much as we may have or may not have to say about those games, there's another trailer, Joey, that came out, being the announcement of the Zelda and Loftwing amiibo coming to Skyward Sword HD on Nintendo Switch, and it adds some new functionality, being the ability to apparently teleport to the sky or back to the ground where you came from at seemingly any point in the game, whether you're in a temple or inside. I mean, the trailer makes it pretty clear you can do it from pretty much anywhere, I think. Now, initially, I'm like, alright, that's cool, brush it off. But it sounded like, Joey, you wanted to talk about this. You wanted to get into the nitty-gritty on this amiibo, right?
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty, Andre.
Alright, let's do it.
Yeah, so on the one hand, I think this amiibo looks super cool, super awesome. I want to get my hands on this amiibo. And when I was watching this trailer, I thought, wow, not only is this a cool amiibo, but it serves a really great purpose within the game. It streamlines the process quicker, making you transport to the sky whenever you want instead of having to find the designated statues to do that, and it warps you right back to where you originally warped. That could save you so much time. It would make things less of a hassle. And then I thought, I really need to get my hands on this amiibo so I can access this gameplay feature. And then I thought, should I really be saying this? Should a feature like this be locked behind an amiibo? That's kind of where my concern lies with this thing Nintendo's doing, kind of locking this feature behind an amiibo. And I know this isn't the first time they've done this either. I think the most recent example was with the Bowser amiibo for Super Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury, where you could summon, correct me if I'm wrong, you can summon Bowser at any time using this amiibo. I haven't done it because I don't have a Bowser amiibo, but this is, pretty sure we made a video about that too, haven't we?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. You can summon Bowser whenever you want rather than waiting for him to turn into Fury Bowser.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a similar deal here, where if you need to go back to the sky, because you're going to have to go back to the sky often, and you're going to have to be doing a lot of back and forth in this game. Yeah, making it kind of an amiibo feature, it's a little bit of a bittersweet thing, maybe a little more bitter than sweet, because it's a feature locked behind something you have to buy.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm very conflicted on this myself. Not that I had given much thought until this discussion. But yeah, on the one hand, I agree with you. Like, I think it's lame to lock features, especially one that seems as useful as this, behind an amiibo. More not just for the cost of the amiibo itself, which, by the way, I think the amiibo looks super cool. I love that Zelda, that particular Zelda, and having a Loftwing there is great. For as useful as this feature is, I'm annoyed that the fact that you have to scan an amiibo at all. I just hate scanning amiibo. It's not. I hate having to keep it around near me, having to scan the amiibo from the menu, hold the stupid amiibo up to the controller. It's like, no, just let me teleport to the sky, darn it, and come back again. So, anyways, to your point though, yeah, it kind of sucks that this is locked behind what, a $15 object. On the other hand, I can't be too upset about it, because if the game had just released without this feature at all, we wouldn't have thought twice about it, right?
That's true. That's very true.
I don't think, to my memory, it's been a long time since I played Skyward Sword, 10 years to be specific. I don't remember feeling like I needed to teleport to the sky immediately and back, and maybe it would have been useful. I honestly don't even remember. So I don't think I'll have noticed its absence. But at the same time, I agree with you that it's like, oh, that's a really cool feature, but now it sucks knowing that if you want to make use of it, you're going to have to go pay for a $15 amiibo that you may not want otherwise. But I feel like it depends so much on your perspective, because on the other hand, it's like, hey, I picked up a cool toy, now I have this feature that I can use in the game I didn't have before. It's like, can you really get upset about that? But on the other hand, it's like, well, Nintendo just took what was probably a minimal feature to add for them, and now charging it as what's essentially a $15 DLC if you don't care about the amiibo otherwise. I feel like it's I feel like it's both not a complicated issue at all, and also very complicated.
That's very true, and it would be worse if it was a feature that would be like more helpful than this one of just simply transporting back and forth. Imagine if they came out with an imprisoned amiibo, and scanning the imprisoned amiibo kills the imprisoned instantly, saving you hours upon hours of gameplay time.
I would almost, I would almost respect that.
Yeah,
if they just released an amiibo, let you skip a core boss fight in the series that comes up multiple times or in the game. That'd be hilarious. It's like, you know what? I almost respect that, Nintendo. Yeah, this whole thing's ridiculous.
Exactly. It's kind of like them saying, everyone hates the imprisoned boss fight. Let's do this. Let's tease them with what they could have had if they didn't buy an amiibo.
Right? I mean, exactly. And it's, on the one hand, again, like it's like, wow, that's actually pretty not malicious, sneaky, I guess, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is exactly, but like devious, I suppose, of locking.
Petty.
Yeah, heavy. Yeah. Locking, like, making the game better, but you have to pay $15 for Amiibo to do it. On the other hand, it is a core part of the game. So maybe it should be there? I don't know. But regardless, do you think you're going to pick this up? Do you think you'll pick this Amiibo up? And if you do, is it because of this feature?
It's kind of like I was thinking, I do want this Amiibo, yeah, but I'm not going to, like, die of sadness if I don't get it. But now after watching the trailer, I'm kind of like, I really want it more now because I really want to just be able to warp back and forth at my own convenience. And who knows, maybe I'll misplace that Amiibo and not use it again, and I just live on with my life because whatever, it's Skyward Sword. I love that game anyway. But it also does make me wonder what other Amiibo functions we're going to get in this game, not just with new Amiibos. Did they ever release a Girahim Amiibo? I don't know. Somebody on Twitter was talking about that, and I'm like, that'd be an awesome Amiibo to have.
They need to with a tongue you can manipulate, like a fully dexterous tongue.
It's like, it's like the Guardian Amiibo where you can move its legs around, but this time it's Girahim's massive tongue. But yeah, I can think of other Amiibos they'll have. There's already a Skyward Sword Link Amiibo that was released in 2017. I forgot why they did that, but I know they also released Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess Link too. So it kind of makes me wonder then what kind of functionality will those Amiibo serve, if they serve any functionality at all.
I would be shocked if the Skyward Sword one at the least doesn't do something. But I feel like all the Zelda ones might. I can't fully remember, but I think there's a precedent for that in previous Zelda games, maybe even Breath of the Wild. But even the Wii U ports, where I think if you scanned in pretty much any Zelda Amiibo, like it would drop, it would give you like some kind of item or bonus or something.
Yes.
With a more specific Amiibo, like tailored to the game, mostly like giving you more special bonuses. Although I was going to mention Breath of the Wild as an example, but this actually isn't a good example. But it made perhaps the best use of a Twilight Princess Amiibo, which gave you the wolf that would follow you on your adventure, or the dog or whatever.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool. So I do wonder, like, to what extent they'll make use of them here, if any further extent beyond just dropping in like random bonuses for you. And on the one hand, I'm a little bit curious. I'm like, oh, maybe they'll have more cool features like this. But on the other hand, it's like, do I want more features locked behind more freaking Amiibo? But then again, I already own most of those Amiibo. So it's like I said, it's not complicated and it is complicated at the same time.
It's a classic catch-22 right here.
It really is.
But yeah, it would make sense for them to also, if it works with Skyward Sword Link, I feel like it should work with every other Link there is, because the only Link I have is a Smash Bros. Link. So it would kind of be beneficial to make features that are already available on other Amiibos. Heck, maybe I was even thinking a Zelda Amiibo like from Smash would also help this feature right here, because maybe if that would be the case where you could use a Smash Bros. Zelda Amiibo instead of the Zelda and Loftwing Amiibo, then I probably want to get the Zelda and Loftwing Amiibo. So, that kind of answers my question there of if they would do that. They probably wouldn't. They would probably lock this behind the Zelda and Loftwing Amiibo because, people who already have a Zelda Smash Amiibo like me would have less of an incentive to buy it. So, there you go.
So, you probably played Skyward Sword more recently than I have. Do you remember the specific functionality? Like, do you think it actually would come in useful? Like, were there points in the game where like, man, I wish I could warp to the sky right now rather than walking outside or wherever you are to the statue, warping into the sky? Then of course I think you have to drop in back I think, could you drop him back to those statues that you warped or, took to the sky from? Or did it always drop you back in the central area? I really don't remember.
I think it dropped you back where you originally came out of. Or
could you choose the statues? I feel like maybe...
You might have been able to choose the statues. People in the comments help us remember, because I don't. It's still been a few years since the last time I've played Skyward Sword. So I don't remember it being too much of an issue. There's a lot of things about Skyward Sword that are like redundant though. Like what really got me was when you could warp right back to where you were, like from the town. You don't have to jump off the island, back onto your Loftwing and fly back to the portal. That is what I'm ultimately excited about, is not having to be able to do that again with that amiibo.
Right. Yeah. Good point. No, I could see this being quite useful. Like, I'm thinking of instances where maybe you're getting stomped by a boss, so you just teleport from outside the boss room, go find some heart containers, and teleport back. It's like, yo, buddy, I'm stronger than I was before. It's time to go down.
Exactly. But I think they would actually. Something tells me they wouldn't make you do that. Something tells me they wouldn't allow you to do that, though. I think if you try to scan the amiibo, they'd be like, nope, don't do that. But I've been wrong before. I was surprised in Breath of the Wild that you could literally warp out of a boss fight, like fast travel out of a boss fight. So maybe they'll do that here. Who knows? We'll have to find out in a few months.
Well, they do. Okay, it does say that the text in the trailer does say you can even do this while in dungeons on the surface.
Oh.
What is... Wait, okay.
So
they're referring to the surface on the... I see. That's a little confusingly written. I think they're referring to dungeons on the actual, not in the sky. Which I don't remember how many there were otherwise. But,
not a lot, really.
So I think that suggests that you could do what I proposed. Outside the boss room, I assume you probably can't do it during a boss fight, although that'd be cool too. Just teleport in, he's already half dead, and just finish him off.
Oh man, it's kind of like in Skyrim when you pause just to eat something real quick,
Yeah, or even Breath of the Wild.
Or even Breath of the Wild,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's more ridiculous in Skyrim. I don't know.
So, what other are there any other functions you would maybe hope for? As that could be tied to Amiibo, whether realistically or not, to further Skyward Sword. You already mentioned instantly skipping or taking down the imprisoned. But is there anything else you would want Amiibo functionality or any functionality for?
Okay, those, I forget what they were called, but they were the silent... What?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Not those ones, but I know what you're talking about. The other ones where you go into the silent realm and you gotta collect all those things, and you gotta avoid getting caught, and if you get caught, it's the worst feeling ever. Just give me an amiibo to where I can turn invisible or something.
Oh, that'd actually be kind of cool. Yeah, just go play stealthy without having to really play stealthy.
Exactly, right? It's cheating, but I don't care. That's my least favorite part of Skyward Sword, and that's a game I love to death, so...
Yeah, I think for me, I already tipped my hand. I want it so just all the Tattones instantly come to you. You have to collect any of them. They just get pulled to you. Problem solved. But again, These are all things that would be better as, maybe not all of them, but these would be better served as, features improved about the game itself rather than being locked behind Amiibo. So, yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like, yeah, good idea, but, maybe it shouldn't be tied to an Amiibo. I think by far the biggest issue with this whole Amiibo thing here, Joey, is that it threw off the triangular shape that the three options on Thief's menu had before, which basically formed a Triforce. Now there's four of them, so it's a square, which is far more boring of a shape. That's...
It's the Quad Force now.
Yeah, right. Oh, you know what? I just have another... This whole thing just reminded me of another Amiibo function. I want a function to just make Fee not talk. I want to be able to scan the Amiibo and just have her, stop talking for 30 minutes. No reminders for, 3 hours even. You can set the time limit. And again, that's something that shouldn't be tied to an Amiibo. So.
It shouldn't, but Nintendo would, just to be petty, when I would respect that.
A brand new Fee amiibo just to make it so Fee doesn't appear in the game.
Yeah, I also think it's pronounced Fi.
Oh, that's right.
But I thought it was Fee for the longest time too, because Japanese pronunciation would usually pronounce as the I like that. But I guess it is Fi. I guess they made an exception for her.
Well, that's annoying now because I can't make a joke about having to pay a fee to disable Fee using a Fee amiibo.
Fee, Fi, Fo, something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Joey. Any other thoughts on the amiibo specifically?
You know, I still want it. In spite of my complaints, I still want it. Just because it looks cool, and I haven't bought an amiibo in years, so.
That's how they get you. Like, it's like, yeah, that's a good feature. The amiibo looks cool. Like, I don't want to pay it, but, you know, it's hard to be that upset at the same time. It sucks that it works, right? It's like, yeah, you got me. It's a cool looking amiibo. It's a good feature. I might use it. And they got us. They got us again,
good.
Joey.
They got us. They bamboozled us. What have they done?
They did. Real quick, I don't know how much we had to say about the NES and Super NES games I mentioned at the top. I feel like it'd be weird if I just talked about them and didn't say anything else about them. Are there any that you are excited to play, Joey, on Nintendo Switch Online? Have you played any of them before, or are there any you want to revisit or visit for the first time?
I've been hearing a lot about this Joe and Mac, so I guess it is Joe and Mac, right?
It came out Ninja in Japan, but Joe and Mac to US audiences.
Yeah, exactly. So I've never heard of this game before, but you're not the first person I've heard sing its praises, Andre. So I definitely got to take a look at this game. And from what I've seen from the trailer, it looks really cool. So I'll definitely be jumping on that.
Yeah, it's good. I think Joe and Mac 2 is already on there, I'm pretty sure. But I was playing it on something. I'm pretty sure it was on the NSO app. So I don't know why that beat 1 onto it, but hey, now we have the full 16-bit series at least on there. So yeah, that's fun to revisit. It has great music too, at least on the map screen, so I hope you enjoy that. Oh, has co-op too, Joey, so we can even stream it together.
Ooh, yes. Only if I get to be Joe.
I guess you do kind of share the namesake.
Just a little bit, yeah.
I guess I'll be Mac Dre.
Mac Dre, I love it, yes. Oh my gosh.
For myself, I kind of touched on it earlier. I got way too excited for Spanky's Quest because I've got a thing for Bubble Bobble. Look, I didn't say monkeys again. Bubble Bobble, huge fan of Bubble Bobble, which is all about shooting bubbles out of your mouth. And this game seems to have a similar mechanic, so I'm very curious to try that. And the monkey looks adorable too. And then Magical Drop 2 looks like a pretty cool puzzle game with a very heavily anime theme, seemingly. But I love the mechanic where it seems like you actually grab pieces, like you grab puzzle pieces that are already there and you can move them around to shoot them up elsewhere, and that seems pretty cool. So it seems like none of these games are really, aside from obviously Joe and Mac, it seems these games aren't really heavy hitters, at least in my experience, but I'm excited to try some of them, so.
Exactly, and this fun fact from Nintendo, they said that these games brought the total number of classic games on both the SNES and NES libraries over 100. So we already have over 100 games. It already felt like we did, but now we do, it's confirmed.
You know, that's awesome. I gotta say that is actually pretty cool. Even if I won't touch most of them, I've played enough of them to feel like it's been a fair value for what I'm paying for NSO. Like I know some people are still upset about the whole NSO thing, the fact that you basically have to pay for it, you won't play online for pretty much most games. But you know, I feel like it's cheap enough, they give us enough in return for it that I think actually is probably a greater value than what I'm actually even paying. Especially with being able to play like those classic games online, I'm content with it. I think it's cool. You know, I'm not singing its praises, but I'm also not upset with it either. And I think it's cool that we reached a 100 game milestone that you just get for free. Well, you know, as part of this service that's effectively Nintendo's version of Netflix. I just wish they would add more consoles now. We've had
seriously,
I think, almost, yeah. Just give us like Game Boy even. I'll take Game Boy games. That'd be cool. Let's play.
Yeah.
What else are they doing with them? No one's playing Game Boy games these days. Give us some more Game Boy, so. All right, Joey, any final thoughts about anything we discussed?
I just want to play Metroid Fusion on my Switch, so Game Boy Advance. Game Boy and Game Boy Advance next. Do it.
Hey, I'm down with that. So they haven't really done anything with Game Boy Advance since the Ambassador program on 3. So.
And that's how I played Metroid Fusion, so there you
go. There we go. Yeah, I think that's actually how I played it too, I think. So yeah, we're overdue. All right, everyone, that is our discussion about the Zelda and Loftwing amiibo, plus the new functionality in Skyward Sword HD, plus some random thoughts on the new NES and Super NES games coming to NSO. Actually, Joey, do you happen to remember when those are hitting the service, by the way?
They're coming out on May 26th.
That was a completely natural way of saying it, Joey. That won't belie our edit point there. So
no, I didn't. I didn't look up the date before saying that. What are you talking about?
All right, with that, everyone, we'll catch you later. Like, subscribe, and everything else if you like this video. See you next time. Bye.